the end of an age. And then Buckley was talking to me before I finished giving the headline. He said, or the beginning of a new era. Well, what it means is the end of an age. We will decide the new era. But make no mistake, we are now there. Make no mistake. Now, I have a couple of special announcements I'm going to make tonight on this Monday global transmission here on Facebook and YouTube. But I really do want people to think about the fact that the globalists want to control human thought and human paradigms so they can direct our evolution in their own words. Whether you believe in evolution or not, the point is they believe in it, they're doing it, it's happening, and cars have evolved, computers have evolved, our DNA is basically devolving, we're under attack. And I think we should organize together and figure out exactly what type of attack we're under. Now I have a few announcements I'm going to make here today, but before I do that, I just want to point out that, make no mistake, there is an huge, epic, historical, unprecedented, incredibly seismic battle going on right now for the soul of humanity. And it's so big and so important and so weighty that I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have all the answers. But I know this, I'm conscious and I'm in the fight, and I really believe in humanity and really want to empower people because you're my people. I mean, I have empathy. I have empathy for my dog that's died of a brain tumor. He's got to be put down the next week probably. But I love so much, I don't want to let him go. And I have love for my cats. But I have even more love for my children, 1,000 times that love in my family. And that extends out to everybody. And the system acts like none of that's real, but it is. It's real in my heart. And in a Zen sense, it goes on forever and it's real, and that's just the way it is. A couple of the announcements here. I've been to the top. I thought 15 years ago, being in some big Hollywood movies, 10 years ago, being to A-list parties with like 20, 30 people there, and it's like Brad Pitt and all the other people there. Who's that guy that's a national treasure? Whatever his name is. All of them. All Mel Gibson, everything. I thought, wow, that was really arriving, and then it was so empty, nothing against those people, that I just didn't care. And, I'd been to D.C. and New York and L.A., and I'd met senators and people that were just so empty and fake. It was really creepy, really satanic, really self-centered. And I thought there was nothing really left to scale. I'd been offered $1 million, $3 million, then $10 million. Sounds like a lot, it's not, to sell out. Hell, we bring in way more than that every year now just to fund the operation. 60, 70 million to fund it. Feels like a lot of money. It's not, it's just money. But I spend it on crew and people and getting the word out. Not a helicopter, not a private jet, not a big mansion. What's a mansion? 20 bedrooms so you can show off to your mummy neighbors, and then you got some dog craps in the separate rooms. I know all these rich people, they go, yeah, a mansion's just a place for your dog to take a shit. And you find like dried up turds later. And again, I'm not knocking money and success. The anti-money people say they don't want money, but they're obsessed with money. And I want money just to be secure and have a car that runs, have good medicine, have good food, and a good roof over my head to fire, not a bunch of symbols of power. But the reason I digress into that is people really feel inadequate. They really feel like they're not empowered because they're not in Hollywood, they're not in movies, they're not in a TV ad, they're not in a modeling magazine. And I'm just here to tell you, everybody that's involved in that, and I know most of you know this, but for people that don't, that's who we're talking to. For the prodigal son, he comes back after a decade of all this evil, and the father takes him back and has a party, and the other son says, I was a good son. Why the hell do you care about him? And the father says, how much do you think I love you? But the bad son gets all this. It's taken for granted that you're good. But there are a lot of psychopaths and sociopaths that take people that want to empower humanity. They take our will for weakness, but our kindness is not weakness. It's the fact that we've transcended them and are part of something bigger. So all I'm telling you is Wall Street, Madison Avenue, the PR people, they wrote books about it. Bernays wrote the book Propaganda in the 1930s, admitting how they did this to everybody and how they broke up our families, how they made us fight with each other, and how they made us feel pathetic. And you should feel pathetic when you're doing something wrong, but not feel pathetic when you have the birthright of such an incredible species. And so, I don't want to hire more reporters. I don't want to manage them. I don't get off on stuff like that. I don't want to start other websites. I don't want to have to raise money to pay payrolls. But I'm going to do it because everything we've done has been victorious. And we have a responsibility to open a Washington, D.C. bureau and a London bureau. And we have a responsibility in the capitals of this world to be cities on the hill broadcasting the truth. So here's one of the big announcements. He's making it in about an hour on Coast to Coast AM. So I can say it now. Dr. Jerome Corsi, that is big in banking, finance, Harvard degrees, worked with Donald Trump quite a bit in the last 40 years, best-selling author, 4 times #1 New York Times bestseller, big journalist, fought NAFTA, fought GATT, fought TPP. He's one of the main reasons we're beating TPP and Trump pulled out of it. He's going to join us as our Washington, D.C. bureau chief starting tomorrow. He's moving from New York to D.C., where he hasn't been in decades, with his wife and family. And he's going to head up a program with journalists and TV people and a crew we're going to form with our reporters and others that are yet to be announced there. And we've got that going on. I'm going to be next Wednesday in 2 days on Joe Rogan's Experience that reaches 20 million people a week or more. I'm going to be on that. That's another announcement. But the really big announcement overall is just that I have a responsibility to fight this as hard as I can and to believe in you. And I do believe in you. And I'm ready to die for you. Because listen, this isn't a world worth living in that people aren't willing to die for their fellow humans. And I'm ready to die. There's a real civil war they're starting. They're trying to push blowing up the White House or assassinating Trump because he's willing to fight for us. Well, I'm willing to fight for him. And if you've got any discernment, you should know Trump's for real and is an honorable person and a good person. So you've got my commitment, and President Trump has my commitment to be strong. I criticized Trump last week, and I said, deny torture, come out against it. It's the only thing you're wrong on. And he came out today against torture. Not saying it's because of me. The point is that the British Prime Minister and others criticized him, but his heart's real, and anybody that's awake knows that. So I don't think he's some messianic savior, just that the enemies of humanity are enemies of Trump because they know he wants to deliver. For whatever reason that is, he's for real. So I appreciate all of you. A lot of other big announcements coming tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, Infowars.com/show. They really are trying to censor us. They're trying to block all the free press. They're so authoritarian because they can't face us. They can't face the sincerity. They can't face the reality. They can't face the fact that we're so real. I want to beat this thing peacefully. I don't have any delusions or dreams about violence, but I do want the people promoting violence and civil war to understand something. You've all been real public, and you've taken our kindness for weakness. You've taken our restraint for weakness, and I really don't want to see you hurt. But the plans you've got are really evil, and if you think once you start those, you'll be safe anywhere in the world, you're gravely mistaken. So the spirit that I represent doesn't want to hurt you, but it's a real spirit of grace, and it's a spirit of comfort for good people. And if it has to remove people like you, it will. So you've been warned. This is one final warning. You're not going to get another one. Stand down now. And stop hurting the innocents. Or you've opened the door to what's happened to people in the past that have done things like you. I hope you have some soul left in you that can be reached out to. But some people are committed to evil and committed to the energy they serve. I understand that. But I'm speaking to those that still have choice, even if it's tenuous. A preacher recently told me in D.C., if you can't run towards God, walk towards God. If you can't walk towards God, crawl towards God. If you can't even walk or crawl, look towards God. I don't mean the God you don't find in those churches, but the real God that's in your heart. So look towards God.